What's up, everybody? Happy Friday Eve. Welcome to episode 30 of the Assets Over Money podcast. 30. Dang. Yeah, 30. I don't know if you did it backwards or whatnot. I can't tell. Y'all get the gist. How you doing today, man?
Hey man, I can't complain, bro. It's Friday Eve, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long week. Hey, just ready to get going. You know what I mean?
Oh, I feel you, man. I've been tired. This week I've been tired, but I've been hitting it pretty hard, man, in a couple of different areas. So that's good. You know what I mean? Look back and feel alive. You know what I mean? I'll say that. I feel alive for sure, man. And
Yeah.
I know we was talking about in the backstage a little bit. Crazy what's going on with the NBA, man. What? Said my boy Chauncey Billups. I used to
Hall of Famer, dog.
yeah,
Hall of Famer, man. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Scary Terry, man. Like he used to play in Charlotte, So like
yeah.
I just can't understand it, man. He's been under investigation for like 2 or 3 years.
Dang.
And like, the NBA said they couldn't find nothing against him, but like obviously the FBI been tracking him for a minute, and you know, see Chauncey. I mean, like, bro, you guys have made big money. I mean, I think Scary Terry's contract is like 26, 27 million or something like that, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
You're making 7, 8 mil a year,
Yeah, it's
dog.
crazy.
What are you gambling for to make 50, 100,000? What are you doing?
I don't know, but I was talking to I was in my little group chat and they were when it first came out, and I was like, bro, imagine making millions of dollars a year and then saying, you know what, I'm gonna do something illegal so I can make a couple million a year. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. I was looking at I just had I was eating dinner, we just had like the news on or whatever. They're talking about like some of the mob is involved. They naming all the different mob families. I said, y'all playing a dangerous
Italian
game.
mob
I'm
families,
saying,
yo.
bro. I thought I was watching a movie. I was like, this American Gangster or something. I was like, what's going on?
I don't understand, man. But see, I think what it is that for Scary Terry, I mean, probably for Chauncey too, right? Like you done made so much money, and knowing that you about to be retired or be out the league, and it's like you trying to find a way to continue to make money, and it's like your financial IQ is so low, like you don't even know what to put your money into that's legal that's gonna give you big returns. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like I just
for
don't
real, what
get
we
it.
need to do, bro, I'm gonna find Chauncey Billups. I'm gonna shoot him a link to the podcast or something, man. Be like, yo, watch a couple of these. What? If
Oh,
you
or
got some money, you need to know where to put it, man. I got a couple of ideas for you.
yes, yo, like you could invest in a ton of stuff that we talk about over here, yo. Like I don't understand what these folks be thinking about, bro. But damn, I hate to
Yeah,
hear it. I
man.
mean, and it's us, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it
Oh
just
yeah,
looked
I
bad,
looked
yo.
at
It
it. I
looked
said,
bad.
yeah, it does not look great. It does not look good for the NBA. And I'm curious to see how many other people are involved as well too, because more than likely, if one going down or two going down, somebody's gonna start singing, man. So it's gonna be
Oh,
it's
they
gonna be
they said they got
more.
like 30 of them. It's like 30 of them. They rounding up, yo. Like, but I don't know if they in the league or not. But like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a ton of them mugs. They rounding up, bro. And it's like
yeah,
you got Cash Patel talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like this dude is a clown, and he gets to take you down. Like, damn.
yeah, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Also, I'll tell you what, man. I hate to talk about, it, but I when I saw you, I was like, I'm about to bring it up at some point before you do. My Dolphins falling apart, bro.
Hey, look, that started with your boy last year, though. You know what I'm saying? With
Yeah,
what's your
Tua
wide
falling out,
receiver?
falling his head. Oh, you talking about
Nah, your wide
Tyreek?
receiver. Yeah, Tyreek Hill started all that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think it's Tyreek Hill conspiracy theorist. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Because
think
ever since he said what he said at the end of the year, yo, it's like y'all whole franchise been on a down slope, bro.
I tell you what it is, man. I think that it's just time for a change in Miami. You know what I mean? I just think it's time for a change. I think we have, if you look at it on paper, we have everything we need, in my opinion. Even without Tyreek, right? We still have a great receiver core, got a great running back, a couple running backs, and a pretty decent defense outside of like cornerback position. That's where we're struggling, but yeah, it's not looking good. So I mean, still a long season. We got some time if we turn it around, but ain't
I don't know if you're gonna be able to turn it around this year, bro. Like
wild card.
I think Tua is like mentally done, yo. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, I think, and the coach looks like he's mentally shot too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like he don't want to be there. And it's
yeah,
like, hey, bro, but hey, he got paid. They should have kept old boy there before they hired him. You know what I'm saying? He the one built that squad anyway.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
what was that? What was my man's name?
Brian
Ricky?
Flores.
Yeah, Flores. They should have kept him in that joint instead of giving him one. How many years did he get to coach? 2 years.
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah, yeah,
but
I
they
agree.
cut him too short. You know what I mean? They let this clown stay in there with the team that Flores built. They let him stay in there, what, 3, 4 years? How long he been
This
coaching there
is
since?
one, two.
It's like his fourth year, right?
Yeah, I want to say it's his third or fourth year that he's on. Last year was I give him a break because of all the things that are happening with Tua. This year, ain't no bro. There ain't no excuse, man. But it's a lot of things. But topic for another day, man. I know we got a pretty solid topic today. I think it's pretty important, man. And what that topic is for those listening out here is one of the things we're going to talk about today. We're going to break it down. Is money won't save you from poor habits. Now, with that, Kev, when you hear something like that, what does that mean to you?
Man, that means to me that you can have a fancy car in front of a shack and that you'll never learn how to manage your money or
Mm,
become wealthy in this time in your lifetime. You know what I'm
I like
saying?
that.
Because, you got folks out here, buying expensive stuff that they can't afford. And, they're, either house poor, car poor, you know what I mean? And it's just a mess, man. And they never take the time to actually increase their financial IQ. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, we never, we always talk about this, school never taught us about money or leverage. It only taught us how to be an employee. And so if you don't try to take that, extra step further and be proactive with, learning about money and how it works, then you're always going to be in that same frame of mind where you want to look paid, but you're not paid.
Amen to that, man. Ooh, I like that. If I well, be snapping for you. I like that. That brought me back, man. Just think about like growing up, or like just right. If you ever ride through the hood, man, I remember you see the very nice cars, like nice Escalades sitting on the rims, blacked out. I'm like, man, that's so cool. And you look sitting right outside like a trailer or right outside a smaller house. Which again, we don't know. If those are your priorities and that's what makes you happy, then cool. But I see that and I'm like, dang, something's at the time it was cool, but I'm like, man, that's $100,000 car sitting in front of a $30,000 house. Something's not right here. You know what I mean? Um,
Exactly.
and then I'll just always just putting it right into like a car, right into the stuff like that, right? So that's a great point, man. And I guess diving into it, I put together. Well, we put together a couple of different talking points that I think would be important for us to dive into. Number one, why income doesn't fix character flaws, and I think that is very important because to a degree you could argue. I mean, there are some rich people who are snobby, who aren't necessarily the greatest people, but I think in the end, you know, it's not won't necessarily last if your character isn't great. Or, you can have that money, but you're not going to be well liked or well remembered and things of that nature, right? So I say like this, right? Simply put, more money won't make you more disciplined. It won't make you more honest or won't make you more focused. It just gives you more room to expose. Well, it just gives you room to expose what's already there. So I
Yeah.
think money in most times makes, issues worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. I mean, money is neutral. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
it's not good or bad, right? It's all about the user. And if you got good money habits or if you got poor money habits, I mean, you got to think about the folks we come from, and just like you said, man. I mean, you might have an Escalator on rims and you pulling up to a trailer. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are your priorities? You know what I mean? Like eh, that truck is already depreciating as soon as you drove it off the lot. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna help your future whatsoever. But from where we from, you know what I'm saying, the people that we come from, I mean, I can remember the same thing when I was young, bro. Like cats want to look rich, but never are rich. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like that's just the worst, man. I mean, and I feel like I'm a victim of that too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I used to want to live. I ain't know nothing about bread, nothing about money, but like I wanted to look like that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have that, but it came to a point where, I can care less about looking like that. Now I just want to stack and be able to leave a legacy to my family. You know what I mean? It ain't about that. And when I think about that, I always think about Adam Sandler, right?
Oh
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
Adam Sandler is super paid, yo. He's like
yeah.
super paid. But like if you see him, that mother like he might be homeless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's just a regular guy, man. And I can respect that so much now. You know what I mean? I can like really honestly respect that, bro. So,
Yeah.
we got this is a powerful lesson, powerful episode we have today, man. Because,
Yeah.
you got to understand it's either, you want to look rich or you want to be rich.
Amen. Amen to that. I think a lot of it boils down to or what I've seen, just people being impulsive. You know what I mean? Seeing something is like, I gotta have it. I was talking to a few kids up here yesterday just about like, budgeting and finances, and we're talking about essentially like what most people do. They see something, they check their bank account, and it's like, hey, I got money in here that I would be able to buy this, and they buy it without thinking of the ramifications of it of the future, right? And then one of the quotes that somebody told me a while ago was, if you're impulsive broke, you'll be impulsive rich as well too. So
Right.
just because you make more money, it's not going to change those. If you're not disciplined, right? You're not disciplined in your spending, you're not disciplined in your habits. That's not just going to change just because you have more money coming in. It's just going to make it worse. And something we've talked about multiple times before is it's like that keeping up with the Joneses type mentality, right? Whereas like I got a new raise, I got a raise in a job, right? For example, somebody gets a raise in a job, first thing they do is, all right, I'm making more money, I need to spend this money. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now I can get the new car, I can afford
Right.
the bigger house and the nicer neighborhood. But what you're doing is you're just creating that divide. As your income increases, a lot of people approach that and they also increase their expenses as well too. So you may be in a different house than you were before, but like if you're looking at net, how much you're actually bringing in is roughly the same because your spending increased.
Man, yeah, dog. That reminds me of the book Millionaire Next Door, dog.
Yep. I was
You know what
thinking
I'm
about
saying?
that. Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what that makes me think about, man. Because just because your income goes up, you feel like you need a bigger house, you need a better car, but they don't never think about, the more income you get, the higher your taxes go, right? And your expenses increase. But at the same time, if that job is removed or that job goes out of business or something, now you got to think about getting another job and a new income, and that's why it's so important to invest, right? I mean, and that's what we talk about a lot. But if your money goes up, it's only gonna make you more of who you are. You know what I mean? So if you don't know shit about money and you're getting a big check, that shit gonna be gone quick, yo. It's like, people who win the people who win the lottery, right? They say what, 85% or something of them folks go broke in 2 years.
Yeah.
They get big lottery checks. I mean, so just because you get a check for $1 million don't mean you're a millionaire.
Yep. Yeah, I like that, man. I think one thing to kind of sum it all up, it's a scripture I wrote down, Proverbs 11:3, that says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." So I'll leave it at there. So the next topic that we have here is the habits we had to break down to like actually grow. Some of the habits that we had to actually grow us, or some of the habits that we had to get rid of to actually grow. And with that, I got a few different habits that I would say that I had that weren't necessarily the best ones. And even then, like I know myself fairly well. And I think to a degree, most of us know ourselves fairly well. One of the things I had to cut was time on my phone. You know what I mean? If anybody got an iPhone out there, I don't know what the Androids do, so I can't talk about Androids. I know about but I know on iPhones, every week, every Sunday, I get a notification that shows how much time that I spent on my phone. And I remember, on average, I was like 7-8 hours a week. And I'm like 7-8 hours of me being on my phone. Like, you know what I can do in 7 to 8 hours that is productive? So I installed like a little time blocker. I can only go on social media for a certain amount of times per day for a certain amount of time. I mean, it's helped me cut down on my phone time to actually do more things that are productive, whether it's picking up a book, whether it's listening to a podcast, whether it's focusing on trying to, grow the business in some type of way. or whether it's just spending time with, family, more things that I would say are positive outside of the negative. Another thing that I looked at, and again, this is me, it ain't got to be you, was, alcohol. And I'm not a big drinker by any means at all. But I noticed that, like, there were times, there's nothing wrong with having fun, what if that's your thing or whatnot. But like for me, I noticed that it just for me was just not something that resulted in, like, I guess, great thinking or great headspace, or just took me away from other things. Man, if I drink, what I'm saying, I drink too much, I'm either going to want to, like, just sit down and chill, like eat, or like sleep. You know what I mean? It made me kind of lethargic, made me unfocused, and things of that
Yeah,
nature.
bro.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
some of the habits for me. You know what I mean? How about you?
I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like a habit that I had to break was shopping. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
big money.
And I mean, but just going to buy clothes. I used to be a big sneakerhead. You know what I'm saying? And like, just having nice stuff, looking nice, right? You know what I mean? I always thinking about Dion. If you look good, you play good. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's it gets to a certain extent where you don't even need that. To go back to the Adam Sandler thing, like I can go to a thrift shop now and be able to go get me something if I have to go. So you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it doesn't matter to me as much as it used to, right? Because like I used to want to be super fresh. You know what I mean? No matter where I went, I wanted to be super fresh.
yeah,
And like that, and that was a habit that I had coming from the hood. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Because in the hood, you don't have a lot, but when you do get some, you want to, go get some fresh gear or get
yeah,
some fresh kicks. You know what I'm saying? Or drive a fresh whip or something. But like at the end of the day, that money could have been going to invest it. You know what I mean? And it's like we don't think about that because we get glamour shot, and it's like we see that shiny object, and it's like, oh yeah, I got the money to get that. Let me go ahead and scoop that. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Especially if it's on sale or something. I'm gonna go ahead and get that. You know what I mean? But like that's one of the things that I had to kind of put to the side because my goals have changed now, and it's like I want to be wealthy versus just looking wealthy. You know what I mean? So
I
like
like
that
that.
habit of spending, I had to kind of let go
Yeah,
because and I didn't really budget that well either back in the day. You know what I mean? Like my budgeting skills were not up to par. But now it's like you have that light bulb moment and you go through some things and it's like, yo, I could have did this, and this a little bit better. And some people don't change, but for me, I had to make that change because I know what I want my outcome to be. I know what the legacy is I want to leave for my daughter and her kids. So
yeah,
like I have to be able to recognize it and make a change, because like I say, the more money you get, it only really increases who you are inside, So if that's who you are, you just want to look good,
yeah,
feel good, you're gonna be buying shit forever. But like you're gonna be broke too
yeah. I
because
think, bro,
that.
with that, man, it's like, I think too is you can 100% look good, just not paying. Like, you just ain't got about those crazy fancy, clothes, man. Like, bro, TJ Maxx got everything that I need. You know what I'm saying? TJ Maxx got everything. Shoot, if you got a local Goodwill, you find some crazy. I'm not even joking. I found some crazy finds at Goodwill, man. Like my
Bro,
suits or like jackets.
I was in the all designer,
Yeah,
designers. Everything was designer, and like that was just where I was mentally. And it's like you break them habits because hell, you grow out of them clothes, they get old and they
yeah.
fade away, You know what I mean?
Hey, now we
But
got Timu, Chinatown, so you can just, you know what I mean, go get you some knockoffs. Look the same.
yeah, I mean, but like you gotta be. It's either you're gonna be wealthy or you're gonna be broke. You know what I'm saying? And the way the world is right now, the way things are going, the middle class is being wiped out. You know what I mean? Like suppressed. And it's like either you're gonna have money or you're not. It's even with the shutdown going on right now. It's about healthcare, We're the only country that don't have universal healthcare. You know what I mean? So like, if you're not really on top of these things and really thinking about them, man, it's like you can get caught up in that and fuck around don't have no healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Because if they take away Obamacare, dog, man, it's gonna get stupid, bro. And I'm on Obamacare. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like, I'm a prime example. Like I love Obamacare. I ain't no front, yo. You know what I mean? I go to therapy every week, no copay.
Mhm.
You feel me? And it's like we should be like that. We should have universal health care. You know what I mean? But that's another story, another time. But that's mentally I'm just
Yeah.
mm, I'm
No.
really sucked into that right now.
Yeah. No, I got you, man. And I guess jumping back as far as like the habits go, man, is like I think it's very important too with habits, like you said, breaking down that shopping stuff. I think it's very important to break down habits, you know, as opposed to just adding new habits. Just because you add new habits to you, like it's like, all right, I'm gonna start reading more and things like that, right? But like, what are your other habits that you have that you're doing that may be negating that or not allowing you to do that at your full capacity? You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I think it's good to destroy habits as well as growing them too, and to a degree. Like before you make any changes, I think it's important to like do an audit, like stop, pause, and do an audit of your own life and be like, all right, where do I spend my time? Where do I spend my money? Right? Because people tell me that they have their values. This is something somebody told me a long time ago. Is people will say these are what I value. When everybody tells me what their values are, I tell them to show me two things: show me your wallet, and then show me your calendar, because where you spend your time and your money tells me what you truly value and what you truly
that's
hold in high
it.
regard. And
That's
that
it.
and that's that, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
bro. I mean, it's gotta come to. I mean, something like I say, some people don't never come to that point. They're okay with just being, that poor mentality. You know what I'm saying? And that poor mind. They go through that their whole life, and it's like, yo, I can't get any better than this, right? But they
mhm,
want more, and they never try for it. You know what I mean? So it's like they're stuck in that little, negative hypnotic cycle of just the hamster wheel of doing everything the same way every day and not getting out of that cycle. And it's like, they never had the courage to break out of it, man. So it's like, this is why we do this. This is why we, have assets over money, man, and like just learning and increasing yourself mentally and spiritually, bro. It's like it's nothing like it, man. You know what I mean?
amen to that, man. So topic number three: how how self sabotage shows up in business and finances. So self sabotage, I think it goes. You could go a whole bunch of different places with that. But I think self sabotage, I think that it looks like procrastination, overthinking, or in most cases, I think playing small. And we can a lot of times we're our own worst enemy. So if you are out there building, your own business as a solopreneur or things like that, I think it's very important to have folks in your circle either that you can go to with similar goals or similar dreams and you, or partnering up with people with similar goals, similar ambitions that keep you leveled, and then challenge you as well too. Because again, sometimes we are our worst enemy. We'll see how big some people get or all the things that other people are doing. And it's very easy for us to be like, I can never do that. They're doing X, Y, Z, or I've been doing this for this many years and they knocked it out, early. Right. So self comparison is a thief of joy. Focus on you, run your race, and, seek to improve, man, because again, you can eat yourself up and find yourself quitting before you even truly get started, you know?
Yeah, man. When I hear that, I think about fear. You know what I'm saying? Um, Fear stops a lot of us, man. You know what I mean? And they always say the richest place you can go is the graveyard. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because there's so many dreams and so many things that have been, thought of but never accomplished or never even tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's they never get a chance to. They die before they get to do anything that they ever wanted to do. Right? So it's like the fear stops a lot of people. And this, we all have it. You feel me? But it
Yeah.
gets to a time where you have to kind of get over that, and that's a terrible habit to have, is fearfulness.
Yeah.
And what if I do this and it doesn't work, or you know what I mean, if I do this and I don't do it right, and people look at me different. I got a 7-year old daughter right now, and it's like she's they schools teach us how to be perfect, right? And it's like if you don't get perfect on your test score, they look down on you, right? But I have to constantly remind her that you have to make mistakes to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Making mistakes is a part of success. and like we get so caught up in being trying to be perfect. You know what I mean? Because I was just like that when I was her age. I wanted everything to be right. I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to get everything, correct on my test. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like even as adults, we don't think we're supposed to make mistakes, right? And so, being able to say, you know what, I'm okay with making mistakes if it's going to make me better. You know what I mean? You got to find a silver lining between every mistake you make. Is like a baby, right? Babies get up, fall down multiple times until they start learning how to walk. And
Yeah.
if they don't take the steps to try to, if they're scared they're gonna fall, they're never gonna learn how to walk, right? So
Mhm.
like we have to be okay with making mistakes and getting over the habit of being fearful of doing the things we want to do.
Yeah. And looking at it as like make mistakes, honestly, as quick and as fast as you can, so that way you can actually learn and grow from them. Most, again, a lot of this is something like the more I listen to like people who are like uber successful, a lot of a lot of like values or a lot of talking points start to become really repetitive, amongst those groups of people. Some
No
of which
doubt.
encompasses things such as like, what differentiates you between these businesses, or blah 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 this, or this person, or XYZ, or from just people in general. Is like, I went out there, I took action before, like, I thought about it too much, right? Like, I hear something, I want to do it, and then I did it. I didn't sit there, think about it. How many different ways could I do this? Well, what if this doesn't work? He said, I saw this, I wanted it, I tried it out, I messed it up a whole bunch of times, I got it right, and now I got it. And they ran with it
Yeah,
and were
bro.
able to prove it, because they went out, failed, got it, and now they are super successful because they figured it out. And a lot of times they figured out a lot faster than before most people even get started. You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough to make mistakes and have to, see that for yourself. But
Yeah,
that's a way of life that we have to make mistakes in order to grow. You know what I mean? So like, folks get into it and they think, hey, I don't want to make mistakes. I want things to go smooth. I mean, everybody wants things to go smooth, right? Everybody wants everything to go right. But at the same time, you can't be afraid of making mistakes. You know what I mean? You just can't. And that's the only way that we're gonna overcome is by, fighting up the hill and getting over the top of the hill. You know what I mean? You just
yeah,
gotta keep making those mistakes, man. And that's what I'm a prime example. That was one of the terrible habits that I had coming up, man. Like I just didn't want to make mistakes. And it held me back from a lot of things that I could have done earlier on in my life. But,
yeah,
we live and we learn.
yeah, bro. And shoot, bro. Like, again, anybody who's successful, you can look at them in history. One of the first things that they talk about when they made it is like how many times have they failed, or how many times they got it wrong, or all the things that didn't happen. But like, again, that's what makes the journey so beautiful, and that's what makes the story so much better, is like the adversity in it, because it's relatable. Everybody goes through adversity, but not everybody responds to it the same. And I think
That's
one of
it.
the biggest differentiating factors between folks who have it and folks who don't is how they respond to adversity, how they respond when things get hard, when they fall down over and over and over and over again. To a degree, you got to be a little bit insane. Everybody hears this all the time. But what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again. To a degree, if you
Exactly.
want to be super successful, you got to be a little bit crazy. You got to be a little bit insane, because you're going to fail. You got to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to fail again. You got to keep getting back up until you get it right. If you truly know in your heart, you truly know in your soul that this is where you're supposed to be, and go make it happen.
Yeah, man. I think about it like, life is 20% what happens to you and 80% how you handle it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And some folks will just give up and just quit and just like, I can't do anything else but what I'm doing right here. But some people will take that, learn from that mistake, keep moving. You know what I mean? So my pastor always say, you're going to go through your ups and your downs, but just don't die in the wrong season. Right.
Mhm.
And so, like, shout out to Barrington Johnson, man, New Zion Church here in Charlotte. But at the end of the day, man, it's like you gonna go through those things, but you just don't want to die in the wrong season before you get to the place where you find the assignment that God has for you.
Amen. Amen. I think that wraps that one up, man. Moving on to number 4. Why financial freedom starts with internal discipline.
Mm,
Now, with that, I think first thing I want to say, and I'll just pass it over to you, man, is you can't master money if you don't master your emotions. You can't master money if you are not disciplined, in your budget, if you're not disciplined where you spend your time, things of that nature. So you have to get all of that straight if you want to truly, master money, master finances, master business. And again, I'm saying this, I'm not, there, but every day, like I am constantly building myself to become better in that regard, or try to improve or become one step closer, man. Yeah, it's a marathon, it ain't a race. I look at it like I'm just climbing steps, man. Just climbing uphill, chucking uphill. And I know it's getting kind of dark, getting kind of scary, man. But I got the blinders on, and I got a smile on my face, man, going through it all, the ups and downs, and everything in between. Ooh, we lose Kev. Boy, got that Spectrum Mobile Wi-Fi. But yeah, I guess really with that is when I think about financial freedom, financial independence, I think what true freedom is, it isn't about. I don't think it's necessarily about not working, but it's about being intentional, with your time, your energy, and your resources. So once you have, your once you have the ability to be, financially independent, financially free, you can choose when and if you want to work, and then more importantly, the areas that you want to work and focus on. I think, and to agree, this is just my opinion, but I think if you want to become financially independent, financially free to just, kick back, stay on the beach, and then just retire the rest of your life, I think that is extremely selfish. Again, I think God put us on this earth to live the best life we can, and then to lift others up, in areas that, we have flourished in. So if you get free and aren't giving back in any way, or if you get free and you're not trying to teach others or bring others up with you, then I think you're being selfish.
yeah, bro. I mean, when I hear this topic, bro, internally, I think of calm, being able to learn how to be calm in every situation. You know what I'm saying? And, learning who you are, learning what makes you tick, what makes you, angry, what makes you happy. Um, just because, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to grow, not just on the outside, but on the inside, right? Learning, learning who you are, right? And so, like,
Yeah.
and not to mention, just that's the real growth, right? I mean, because your money can grow, but if you don't, you're still gonna be the same person. You're still gonna be, and you want to be able to grow internally, and like, being able to serve others, man, that's fulfilling for me. I know we sit here and we do this every other Thursday, but bro, like when I'm able to help someone understand real estate more, I'm, I can have a conversation with them on how they can refinance a loan that they never knew about. You know what I mean? That's fulfilling for me. You know what I mean? So like going back to the calmness, it's like you can go through anything in life, right? The ups and the downs, but again, long as you stay calm and know that, the game is always going to turn around. I think that's the beauty of it, man. You know what I mean? Because like that testimony is so powerful. You feel me? Like, you
Yeah.
go ups, you have your ups, but when you have your downs, like I say, I mean, bro, I don't know if you remember this, but doing during the, some of the recessions we've had in this world, man, people jumping off of bridges and killing themselves.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I thought about that really like a lot when, when it was happening. And it's like, would I ever be at a place where I was that down mentally that I would just kill myself? And it's like, that's crazy to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
And learning who you are, being that calm, and I heard, what was that? Warren Buffett was talking about it, like being calm and being able to, being in a place where you lose money and you may lose business, and how you recover is by staying calm, right? So not overreacting and doing something stupid because you just took a loss, you know, learning who you are, you know what I mean? Because the game always turns around, and learning from your mistakes and being able to counter those mistakes, man. So like, it's something powerful when you can, internally be who you want to be and still be able to serve your neighbor and be able to help them increase themselves. I think that's powerful, dog.
Yeah, so powerful, man. Yeah, and again, man, I think it's important to say that like small, consistent disciplines, whether it's budgeting, whether it's planning, whether it's investing, whether it's saying no. I think small disciplines pave the way for larger success. You know what I mean? So developing positive habits, truly being intentional with your time, truly being intentional with the things that you're looking at, the things you're listening to, the inputs truly help you. You're not going to notice it right away, but each day it's like 1% better, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. And I think true consistency is not necessarily like, linear to where it's like I did the same thing every single day. True consistency is like up, down, like I'm doing, but it remains constant. You know what I mean? It's like I'm doing the same thing. Sometimes I may slip, some things happen in life where I may fall back a little, but I'm still trending in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
man.
that's so important because we're like in the world again, like just like you're teaching with your daughter, like the world teaches us to be perfect. Like if you want everything to happen, you have to do this, you have to do X, Y, Z. You got to be perfect in all those regards, and it couldn't be further from the truth. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. You're supposed to make mistakes. That's how you grow. That's how you become a better, I think to a degree, a better person. That's how you start to develop things, like develop an understanding, whether it's sympathy, empathy, whatever that it may be. But being able to truly understand other folks, problems, not because you went through those exact scenarios, but you're like, you know what, I can understand those feelings and I can resonate with it because I went through this and I felt like similar ways. And it may not be, to the same level, but I understand what you're saying because I've been there, I've been there before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, and another one is patience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being able to be patient with yourself and patient with your exterior circumstances. You know what I mean? Because we may do something new, and if it doesn't work fast enough, we get impatient and we quit, right? So just like you said earlier, man, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. Feel me? So like, we have to be patient enough to say, "Hey, God put this in my heart,
Ooh,
but
yeah.
I have to be able to give it time to grow." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm guilty of that too, but I can say that my patience has definitely increased over the years. Especially with having a
Mhm.
daughter, and even with business too, right? I mean, because you know, I'm just telling you this, but I just started my digital product business with really focusing on realtors and people who are in business. Um, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
not taking off as fast as I would like, but at the same time, it's about patience and letting it grow, and what I'm saying, letting things come when it's supposed to come. You feel me? So just being persistent and not quitting is the key. You know what I mean? So as long as I keep making them steps, I mean, no different than both of us, right? I mean, we're
Mhm.
all building, right? And sometimes things don't happen fast enough, but like at the end of the day, we have to be really focused on staying persistent and to keep moving and to not quit on it. You know what I mean? Just keep running, bro. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's one of them other things that's internal wise that you can always focus on.
Yeah. And that's a perfect segue into the last discussion point, man. God's not going to bless the version of you that's not ready to manage the blessing. So there is a scripture I wrote down as well. Luke 16:10. He who is faithful with little will also be faithful with much. Meaning, that with a couple of things, like you may think you're not where you're supposed to be, but you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And with regardless of whether you got $1 that you're spending a month or whether you only got, real estate business where you only got a couple of leads that you're talking to a day, how you manage what you have a little with is how you will manage a lot. So if you treat little things in your business, you treat little things in your life, treat little things at your job in a low regard, it's it matters. It matters. That's how you're going to treat, those big things. Because say again, real estate, say you only got 1 to 2 leads. if you're not constantly calling those leads, managing those leads, checking in with those leads, how do you think you're going to run your business if you have 10, 15, 20 plus leads coming in on a daily basis? You have to develop those habits now, focus on it, control it, build systems, things like that. So that way, when things start to actually happen, and your business start to take off, you know how to actually, manage it. You know how to actually run it. You know what exactly to do because, you've done it before.
Yeah, bro. I mean, hey, that's major, cuz. I mean, just stand with it, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all gonna take a fall. We all gonna
Mhm.
fall short sometimes. You know what I mean? But at the same time, just like you said, how you manage a little is gonna be how you manage a lot. That's why,
Yeah.
just like we talked about earlier, if you want up for 20 million, don't mean you're a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you can't manage that bread, it's gonna be gone in a few years anyway. I don't care how much money you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you gotta know taxes is coming to get you. You feel me? So if you
Mhm.
don't know how to pay your taxes and manage that piece of it, the IRS coming to get the rest of it. So
Mhm.
that's just
Yeah.
the way it go.
Yeah. And this will be the last thing I say. And then, I'll turn it over to you for final comments, or if you want to wrap it up, we're good, man. But I say this: the blessing is already prepared. The question to ask yourself is, are you prepared? So
That's
with
it.
that, that's all I got, Kev. You got anything that you want to say before we wrap up episode 30?
Nah, man, I always enjoy these episodes, bro. I always enjoy time with you, man, and I'm glad that's what we're doing for the people, bro, because this is something that no one that can ever take from us, and it will always be out there to help bless somebody that need it. You know what I mean? So let's just keep
Amen.
pushing. Push for the next 30 episodes, and let's keep going with it, bro.
Amen to that, man. Hey, great, great. I think great episode 30, man. 3-0 special one. I think this was a good discussion, man. And for y'all out there, I hope this was impactful. I hope y'all at least learn one thing from this. And again, if you guys want us to talk about or focus on anything, let us know. Reach out. We are more than accessible. But outside of that, this was episode 30 of the Assets Over Money podcast. Peace.
Stay persistent.
Stay persistent.